Hi, good morning. Welcome back to our channel. Well, my channel.
Yeah.
With my visitor, right? Hope we've been good. We are on vacation, but I've always been wanting to talk about this topic, which is the neglected population that we see in the healthcare sector, right? As healthcare professionals, what we see. I'm talking about what I see here. He practices in the US, so clearly it would be in the US from a US perspective. Let's get into it.
And the population that we're talking about is, of course, the elderly. We see them every day. It's really sad that these people would have contributed so much to our society for many years, and now that they're retired, they probably have a lot of chronic illnesses. They don't contribute so much anymore, and it's almost as if we put them on the back burner and we forget about them.
Right.
And the sad thing about it is that if we live long enough, eventually we will become an elderly population as well. So I think it's about time we kind of break that
cycle.
Break that cycle.
All right, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. All right, so what I see, let me just talk about what I see. So I'm at the health center. I will see an old person come in. He or she will tell me they live alone in a 3-bedroom house. Some people might say in a 1-bedroom house. Another person has told me in a 14-bedroom house.
Wow.
Some live with family members. Some live by themselves. But they come, you get an odor. That's the first thing. So them clothes I don't know wash. They haven't been bathing. They'll tell you I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Right? They just look unkempt. So these people are not being taken care of. And you will ask how many children you have, and then read out this bag of number. Most people have children. Honestly, that I've met. What about you?
Yeah, same thing. They have children, and it doesn't really change. And you think that in a first world country things will be different.
I thought it would be different in America.
There is some difference, but and in terms of there's much more accessibility to like nursing homes and stuff like that.
Okay.
But it's still there's still a lot, lack of affection. The family kind of leave them in a nursing home. They don't know what's going on with them. And I have so much examples of where you see the neglect when the patients go to the nursing home. Family don't know what is going on. They haven't seen them. I call them, hey, your mom is here in the hospital, and they don't know. They can't tell when last they saw their mother.
Wow.
They don't know.
They don't go look for them in the nursing home.
They don't go look for them in the nursing home, and
Oh,
then
wow.
they will give you a situation where their mom was like this 6 months ago, but over the last 6 months, if you know anything about patients with dementia, they decline so rapidly, so they don't know that their mother has gotten this sick, and they have this kind of expectations. Oh yeah, the last time I saw my mother, she was doing great. I don't know.
So how is she sick now?
Yeah,
and whatever?
so like, hey, you haven't seen her in 6 months, so she has declined a lot in her memory and everything by that time, and she's not the same person that you saw 6 months ago.
All right. So basically you're telling me in the US they tend to put them in homes.
Generally speaking.
For the most part,
yes.
They put them in homes because they can afford to. But there's also, even though they're being taken care of in the homes, they're also being neglected because their family members don't know what's happening with them. So basically, I'm not saying this happens, but the home can mistreat them and the family don't know.
Of course, there are horror stories of things happening in the home. Not only staff, but other people in the nursing home, like patients.
Other patients
that may be
in the nursing
healthier, stronger or whatever. They can take advantage. But if you have family that is coming in, that's always a positive sign that you're less likely to be taken advantage of, because nobody will mess with you. They know your family is coming. They know they watch anything, a new scratch, your family is gonna see that.
Right.
If your thing go missing,
they take better care of you if your family comes quickly.
Only natural. And they will look out for you, and they make sure that, because some family will stay on top of that, and they can't, if they sick, they slide.
What you believe are some, right, so as I was saying, what I see, I don't see a lot of nursing homes necessarily. And people, funny enough, people who come from nursing homes, they'll either, here in Jamaica, they'll either have a doctor that goes in to the nursing home.
Yeah, that's the same.
Or what they'll do, they will take their family member, like nursing home will call them, I've seen that, and they take their family member to the private doctor or to the health center, which I've seen. Right? So usually in Jamaica, I think it goes both ways, but for the most part, if you pay money in Jamaica for nursing home, I don't know why, but Jamaicans want to make sure that their money getting paid. So they tend to check. I think it goes both ways. You have some who don't look for their family members and some who do. Fine. Next now, I wanted to talk about, oh, what's this? I wanted to talk about some of the issues or the reasons why this happened. One of the things I can think about, all right, when I'm in the hospital, females always get better, more visitors and better care.
And we all know why that is.
So a female patient who is sick, them have them pitney come look for them have them husband, them brother, them sister, them mother. But the male patients,
not so much.
Not so much. I've seen a lot of male patients come in the hospital, never have a visitor. Only maybe when they're leaving, somebody comes and discharges them. Right? Or you'll call the person and say, oh, this person is ready to be discharged, and they'll say, boy, may I work, I don't have a time, wait until weekend me come feel. Right? And I can say in the Jamaican population, I don't know what you see over there, but in the Jamaican population, what I know is our men don't invest in their families. So their families don't invest in them. Plain and straight. It's as simple as that. Even when they check nursing homes out here, there in Jamaica, there are more female beds or female accommodations than males, because most people pay for their mothers to go to a nursing home. So that's another thing. So what I'm trying to say is what you do in your young days actually affects and matters for your older day. Oh, when you get older, right? So don't only think, oh, them old and that not affect me, but how you treat your family member. And you're not treating them so them treat you good. But you need to be a good person. Right. It's one hand wash the other. So clearly, you're going to be a good family member. You're going to check in on your family members and stuff, so that when you are down, when they are down, you make sure you check on them. So when you are down, they check on you too. Any other causes you see? Anything else? So basically, it's like when you neglect your family members, they also neglect you, right?
Yeah. I mean, and there's also the concept of elder abuse, which, I mean, you could also be a very kind-hearted person to your children, but you get old and you're not very vigilant anymore, and they will take advantage of your resources. So you may have set up everything for your retirement and you think that you're good to go, but as soon as you lose some of your faculty, your kids, if they're not very nice people, they can take advantage of that. And I've seen that before, and you could tell when the family wants their family to survive, and then when
they just want them to die so they can get the stuff, like the prodigal son.
Yeah.
Like, give me all you have.
Yeah. So that
how can that be mitigated?
I guess if you could have a third party in charge of your your assets, that could be mitigated there.
Somebody who can't necessarily benefit or make a will early.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing, because you'll be surprised to see how much people, they're so confused and the family's like, oh, we need them to sign this, sign that.
Yes.
You just see
the
rush, in the last minute. So you want to make sure that when you're young and and you can think
your
for
faculties
yourself.
Your mental faculties are together.
You make that will.
Make the provision. Don't think it's for whatever. Make the provision.
And you can always change the will as longer you live and you think that things change in your life. You can always update it. But I mean, you're never too young.
So one of the causes is when you don't make provision for that time.
Yeah.
All right. So a part of making provision is having that conversation with your family.
Yeah.
Sit down and have that conversation with your children. I remember when I was younger, my parents had that conversation with me. And I think as well, it's a do as I do, not as I say situation. So for me, one of the main reasons, so my husband is abroad and I live out here. One of the main reasons I stayed out here was because of my parents. Originally no, but eventually I see that as a plus, because my grandma from my mother's side, my father's side, had dementia. She was hard to live with. If you know anybody with dementia, they're no longer the person you know.
Right.
They're troublemakers. It's very rough, right? And when I saw my family cope with that, my father put up with that and keep his mother, and we took care of her, that made me look at him like, I can't put this man in a home, because if him go through that with his mother, what else do I have to say? And my mother as well, her father never lived with us, but she would travel every weekend to ensure that he's fine, and she'd put things into place for a family member to take, not even a stranger, a family member to take care of him. He was well taken care of and things. So when I saw my parents do that, it was very hard for me, and my brother lives abroad. So I thought about it, and I'm the only girl. And usually the parents end up with the girls. And I said, if anything happens, how am I going to leave and come? And then when I work in the hospital system and I see patients on the hospital bed who are They might tell you, oh, you know, my son live a foreign or my daughter live a foreign, but you see nobody come for them. They're wrapped in our gowns in the hospital because they have no clothes. They can't eat food, but some family member, they will send money and they carry bun and cheese and crackers and whatever, and the person needs ensure no real care is being taken. I'm like, I can't make that happen to my family after them spend so much money for me and send me go school and them somebody and invest in me. You get what I mean? So as well as it's about still preparing. And I guess it has to do with how you treat your parents too. That your children gonna see that and be like, this person cares for their family member. You get me?
It's definitely something there for sure. It doesn't necessarily mean that it will happen, but your likelihood of that reciprocating is higher when you show care, and your kids see that you're caring for your parents, then they will also, care for you.
It's a higher percentage that you will be taken care of, right? But just in general now, to the younger population, let us not forget our grandparents and our elderly. Most of us have a grandma or grandpa. Let's not take it for granted that this and so person is taking care of them. Check in. Sometimes you just checking in can make a world of a difference, because the other person will be like, okay, this person cares. To be honest, you might have to send a $5,000. Pampers and them, some of them not cheap. This is another life. This is another person who was working and adding to society, maybe even added to your life, but because of where you are now. You know what a lady said to me? She had 7 kids and she said, boy, I me one, but I'm putting them have them own life and them gonna foreign, and them she accepts that, but she was in a mess. Like, she needed somebody to live with her. She needed help. And I'm like, that's so sad, Oh my gosh. Well, I feel like we could wrap up here. And I think this is an ongoing conversation. We don't have the solutions necessarily, but let us consider our elderly and think about the elderly people. And if you don't have a grandma or grandpa, you can adopt one.
Yeah.
If you go to church, if you have somebody in your community you can look after. Trust me, I have had experiences of elderly people. I know elderly people who get taken care of by a community member, by a friend, enough to be a family member. So let us stop neglecting our elderly. Any last words?
So yeah, in terms of final word of advice, I agree with Sasia. Remember, we're all on this path of aging, so think about what you'd want when you are at that stage in life, and not necessarily from a selfish motive, but it's easy. Sometimes it just takes a text or a phone call. I mean, don't think that the person has so many children, so many grandchildren. Don't assume that somebody else is doing it. Just once it comes up to mind, just do it. Just give them a call, say, hey, how you doing? Just checking up on you. Go visit them, go bring them some fruits or something like that, and just be that person that you would want.
Yeah.
Just be that support person that they would love to have, and they're usually very grateful for that, from my experience at least. So that's what I would say.
So do to others as you would have them do to you.
Yeah, the golden rule.
Yeah, the golden rule. Now, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment to my channel. I'm saying our channel. To my channel, right? Bye.